picks here. Elise, a strong early presence. Ryze, a strong mid laner in just about any situation. But Splyce feels like they're just banning what they have to, what is powerful. Whereas H2K feels like they have a really clean plan coming
They're banning the opposite roles, obviously. So take away the Ryze because it's a strong mid laner left. But there are the likes of Odoamne that you can still play and kind of survive. Usually this is a Karma ban. We've seen this so often. You lock in Zyra, you ban Misfortune, you ban Karma, and then the Malzahar matchup has to be played. But because many people don't want to play the Malzahar matchup, they end up going for the Tahm Kench, which is also banned. Which makes me surprised that it's actually the Ashe ban that finally comes out.
Ashe, of course, a solid source of consistent damage. Varus probably the last probable meta pick left on the table, but
Jhin is good into Ashe. That is what kind of surprises me here. Maybe they're just very afraid of kind of Malzahar and Ashe together somehow if they ban out the Karma. It's peculiar. We'll have to ask the players. Obviously, we can only speculate so much, but it does look like the Karma goes through, and then it is the logical pickup.
Karma, of course, pretty much safe into every lane. May not be the ideal matchup, but has the range, has the poke, can trade if necessary. Maybe falling flat in front of the raw power of Zyra, but a lot of utility available in the kit as well. H2K waiting on a jungler, waiting on what could be a top or a mid laner. Have heard rumors of the mid lane Jayce, although have not seen it too much.
So this is a double flex. Jayce can go both top and mid lane, and Rumble can go both top and jungle. So there's still information hidden. Obviously, won't be flexed for too long because they're about to lock in the last pick.
Short of a triple flex, I think Splyce will have a good idea exactly what is going to come out of these lanes. But I think it's good that you brought up the Malzahar, because if we do see it here, Malzahar was the death sentence for H2K when they played in the semifinals. When it was Malzahar mid, that was all powerful. But this is new. This is the Malzahar in the bottom lane, and they're not worried about it at all. And of course, they shouldn't be. Karma taken off the board, and pretty much no chance for that champion to be seen.
The value this Jayce flex pick brings now is that otherwise he would have to lane top lane into Shen, which is a fine matchup for Shen. He gets really tanky, and after a while, Jayce can't really do much. Now Shen has to play in Rumble, and that's actually a good matchup for Rumble because he has more push power. He can always burn through, and the Jayce has to go mid. It's a very swingy matchup against Syndra, where Syndra, if she gets ganked, help from Rek'Sai, Jayce can actually go down quite a few times. But on the other side, there's just so much damage coming out of Jayce and Lee Sin, but they lack lockdown. So it's all up to Sencux right now to kind of sidestep there in the mid lane.
Can be interesting to see as well, because we've seen, I imagine Jayce may follow a similar pattern to the Corki, where yeah, he can get all in, but we've seen the power of exhaust on mid laners over the last couple of days, and it feels like once you get into the late game, if Syndra ever gets close, she gets exhausted, and she's such a non-factor in a lot of these team fights.
Yeah, but I think Jayce has to all in first to get that exhaust, because if you get QE stunned by Syndra, she can cast her ulti out of exhaust range. She only needs to throw 2 spheres in any random direction, press R, and you're still gonna die. Obviously, he's gonna rush the Hex Drinker, go for Maw of Mamoshius to deal with the all-in power from Syndra. Honestly, as usual in the H2K versus Splyce matchup, the eyes are on the junglers. Trashy needs to assist some of these lanes to get them going, and Jankos has this early aggression jungler. Again, king of first blood. We've talked about it so much.
Yeah, the power is definitely in his hands to Lee Sin. Rek'Sai potentially forced on the back foot here. Maybe looking to respond to these plays, but it feels like H2K may have set the terms and picks and bans, may have been the proactive ones, but Splyce still walked away with a pretty solid composition overall. It's going to be interesting to see how these early lanes unfold. Febiven versus Sencux, not a matchup we've seen in a long time. Not since last year's Fnatic. How will Febiven stack up this time around? And of course, the bot lane remaining a large question mark. Head on over to Twitter, hashtag H2KWin, hashtag SPYWin. You have your faith in Splyce or the new H2K roster and lineup. But ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is game 1 in H2K versus Splyce. An exciting way to start the season, and of course, this is essentially, for many of you, the battle for first place, or very well could be, as we move forward in the season.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see what happens here, especially with the Splyce lineup. When we get eventually in game, the loading is slow. Somebody's playing on a potato PC, guys. You know how that goes. You're in champ select, you're loading, you're still loading. You check if you're disconnected. But eventually, there's one guy on his toaster. He loads into the game.
Going round and round, but here it is, ladies and gentlemen. H2K on the blue side, Splyce on the red. Jayce in the mid lane, facing down Syndra. Febiven versus Sencux.
I mean, there's so much to talk about right now, especially if you're looking at Splyce late game. Because we talked about it so often in Summer Split. They're so good at coming back into the game from behind. They really know how to play these clutch team fights, but they only have 2 damage dealers. And both of them are low mobility. No gap closer on either Syndra or on the Varus from Kobbe. So if there's a good Rumble ultimate at any point late game and Jankos can find a flank, the damage dealers get eliminated immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. The equalizer is so terrifying. Total 1.5 scaling AP ratio, 650 base damage at level 6. It's an impressive ability and one that they may have to play around, but they do have the global power here. They have the Rek'Sai, they have the Shen, a few more options to start fights on their terms. But man, once they're started, I think you're right. It's so oppressive to play against this lineup.
And you can see what's been evolving lately in the pro scene meta. Whereas in solo queue, junglers very often like starting on the bot side, path to top to maybe gank mid or top, gank the solo lanes, get them ahead. Junglers have really been starting top side most of the time to really kind of assist and aid in vision their bot lanes, because bot lane push seems to be the cornerstone of where any pressure flows from.
Well, and we saw it, of course, in the first game of G2 versus Rawcat. Rawcat taking bottom pressure, advancing forward.
Really important here, the sneaky ward from Jankos, which means he knows that Trashy either starts on red, or Trashy doesn't start on red, which means he starts on blue. His bot lane gets the information to cater the minion wave and the push. We see Splyce trying to step on these plants best they can, but Nuclear and Chei have enough minions early to start challenging the push.
Zyra throwing down what poke she can, not going to connect with the early skill shots, but it looks like both sides just getting the push started off, looking for the pressure here, looking for the fast level 2.
Yeah, and this is where you can't get baited into trading onto champions. The team that hits the minions the most earlier in the game wins out, because after the push, that's when you can start trading onto champions. Aggressive push from Splyce early on. Obviously, they know they can't get ganked just yet. They'll have to be careful around the 3-minute mark.
Absolutely. Lee Sin with a very fast early clear, despite the recent nerfs.
Cool little walk-up from Chei here. They're basically threatening Kobbe to not launch any auto attacks on the minions before the waves are neutral. Obviously, that's what you want to do. Once you push, you want to walk up to the next wave as soon as you can. Start whittling it down. Chei was trying to stop that. But Splyce still get the level 2 first, and they get the poke bonus.
And Nuclear taking a decent chunk out there, and we've talked about H2K communication issues, but that won't affect the early laning phase for these guys. Two Koreans speaking to each other, should be comfortable with the lane pretty confidently, although Splyce playing with more confidence as they get aggressive here, as they get the fast level 2.
Yeah, and this is all very, very known for these guys. This will happen a ton of time in scrims. Junglers start topside, guess where they meet at level 3? The battle over the Scuttle Crab, a little bit of vision. Both of them reveal their hand. Trashy goes back to his blue buff. No longer kind of hands it off anymore, because levels seem to be so important. Febiven going for Wither Ward, where they failed. The Scuttle Crab, obviously, a little bit of vision there is important. This does mean that Odoamne can push as much as he wants. They just saw Rek'Sai bot side with no blue buff. Odoamne gets a field trip. He can just keep pushing in that top lane over and over, forcing Wunder to get poked and CS on the turret.
Absolutely, they have all the knowledge that they need. They saw the starting path. They know where Rek'Sai is going to be. They've seen the Scuttle Crab, and that means Odo, as you said, vacation. He gets to hang out, he gets to push in, he gets to farm. It's on Wunder to pick up what he can, but pressure priority is in favor of H2K.
Yeah, both junglers look at the bot lane. They see maximum distance between supports at all times, just like Mithy was talking about on the analyst desk. You're not really going to go for solo kills, so they start pathing back to the top side, or in Jankos' case rather, get more power base and then look for a skirmish. The Trashy's going the economic route, where he's obviously maximizing his uptime in the jungle. Jankos is going to invest a little bit earlier into more power.
Does get the double longswords, maybe looking to keep that title of First Blood King, but Trashy, honestly, we have to expect him to keep up here as he looks to pull off a little bit of invade. Rek'Sai, champion he is no stranger to.
Oh, the quick path from Trashy. He's done this in the past, swing over to topside very early, unexpected. But Wunder's behavior gave it away to Odoamne. Here's the plan from Jankos.
Wunder doesn't want this. The health bar is too low. Trashy needs to pull back, but the resonating strike, the sonic wave, nothing is going to come through here. Splyce should be free to back it up. No energy onto Jankos. Are they going to go for the dive? Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, and this is all about pattern recognition and knowing that when your opposing laner breaks the mold, you know you're going to get ganked. You don't need to see exactly where the jungler is. He just knew Rek'Sai was there. He knew Rek'Sai was likely pathing behind him for a flank. And then obviously all he has to do is stall until Jankos gets there. Jankos pulls the wave a little bit. Wunder's on the turret. So this is a good move from H2K overall because they had a base advantage. Jankos has already gone shopping. Now he can counter jungle.
This freedom going to be coming in, and you can see the difference in build priority as we set our eyes on some bottom lane trading. Trashy, he picks up the vision. He wants more wards. He wants a little more control. He knows he's a bit weaker now, but Jankos, the raw damage means he's going to be a threat for the majority of this early game. And oh, Nuclear, not going to get tagged out.
I'm loving it. It's a similar concept, whereas when the junglers were bot earlier, Odoamne could push. Yeah, if you have the poke and the push priority on bot lane already, and you see the junglers reveal each other top, you can just poke away with no repercussions whatsoever, unless there's TP wards. Really good move from Febiven as well. Leverage mid lane priority on top lane, and we're looking for a dive.
Wunder trying to pull him under tower. I think maybe realizes his fate here and tries to get something out of it. Spirit's Refuge buys a bit of time, but that's first blood for H2K. Trashy and Sencux maybe hoping to pick up the pieces here, but it may be too little too late. Rek'Sai advances, Tremor Sense shows Jankos, but nobody else, and Splyce walk away empty-handed.
Super clean early game from H2K. That base from Jankos going top lane, allowing Odoamne to stall a little bit, but arriving just in time, that propelled everything. Suddenly, the momentum top side was for H2K, and then they saw that they could leverage the push priority to roam. In Season 2 and 3, mid laners, they would get the push, they go Raptors, get a little gold. Right now, they get the push, they go top lane. They go bot lane, they look for more pressure, and a really good roll from Febiven.
And the worst part is, with the recent patch changes, oh, you see a little aggression here. Even if they do go for Raptors, there's so much more XP in Raptors now that no matter what a mid laner does here, the power just feels to be in their favor.
Yeah, definitely. Odoamne now hits 6, and it's really important that they hit the global lane before Shen 6. So now if Shen gets punished more in lane, it's a lot harder for him to teleport out, and even if he does, the lane is most likely in a position where Odoamne wants it to be. Again, furtherly increasing the punish if Wunder ever leaves this lane. If he has to teleport mid or bot, he has no actual summon or teleport to get back either.
The big thing too, of course, is there's no way to interrupt the Shen teleport. So you can be like, yes, Wunder can go anywhere whenever he needs to go there, but Rumble can just ult. Yes, yeah. Death is a pretty good one.
Death is a pretty good CC, man.
Don't want to stand still for that equalizer. We already talked about the damage. It only gets more frustrating. Fortunate for Wunder too. Spirit's Refuge, yeah, you block autos, but that Flame Spitter just keeps hitting you.
Yeah, and you're talking about it, how do you block the Shen ulti? Well, he's already on half HP. If you know where he's ulting from, you put him on 10%, and he's forced to kind of finish that channel. And now we see Sencux lingering. Sencux looking for a QE into a tunnel flash knockup from Trashy here, but Febiven is respecting the potential of a gank. He's always leaning generally towards the side of where his jungler is, so you'll see him lean right, more in the lane.
Still not going to connect. Prey Seeker comes out. A bit of a warning to Febiven not to stray too far forward, but Sencux really expecting more of an impact here in this early lane. However, Jayce backs off, has Hex Drinker, has the kill, and this is a perfectly comfortable spot for Febiven to be in.
Yeah, perfectly comfortable spot for H2K to be in. They dodged the early ganks where kind of these tanks are super strong because they have high base damages, where they're still kind of competitive.
And we look at it as well, it's very easy to gank, of course, with the Shen. Has his own CC. Rek'Sai provides great follow-up. Syndra can go out there and provide the damage. And so at this stage of the game, they are pretty cozy across the board. Now, of course,
there's a communication issue here, guys. A mic issue on Febiven. His teammates are obviously indicating, have you tried putting it closer to your mouth? He's now trying that, as we can see. They're figuring it out. We don't know what it is exactly, but they're trying to fix it.
I like your narrative that, have you tried putting it?
Hey man, I've been on that stage. People are like, my mic's not working. Put it closer to your mouth. And then during the games, like, I can't hear you. Yeah, because they put it like on their nose when they're drinking, or they put it on their throat. Like, mics end up anywhere, but
it happened to me
right in front of them.
International Wildcard All-Stars was like, my mic doesn't work. This is terrible. Max it out. And they're like, the guy comes up to me, and it's directionally turns it around to face me. I'm like, so.
Yeah, technology.
I like threw a fit. I was like, they need to hear me. They have to hear me. This is all bad. Oh no, I'm just a jerk.
That's why you remember, you never mess with audio guys.
No.
Because they can hit you when you're most vulnerable on broadcast.
You think you're off air? You're on air now.
Yeah, suddenly, all that trash talk makes it alive. No, just a little mic issue here. But aside from that, as cliche as it sounds, communication looks okay for H2K. They've basically been pinging out where Trashy is, and the opposing side of the map has been playing accordingly. Nuclear and Chei a bit in a bind in the bot lane. They're about 20 CS down, so that's where Splyce could get an advantage. Splyce aggressively fought for that push early on. They got it, and they never kind of gave it up. And because Jankos and Trashy were revealing each other all the time, the Splyce bot lane always knew with how much pressure they were playing, basically, or risk of getting ganked. So they could keep on poking and poking and poking, and it's eventually going to hit a breaking point where there's going to be some really bad base timings for Nuclear and Chei.
And I really have to point out, the 20 CS lead in the bot lane is obviously crucial, but what surprises me more is the 26 CS differential between Jankos and Trashy. Now, that's not a straight-up gold differential, of course, due to the way that the new jungle works, but a 300 advantage on top of the assist.
Yeah, never look at CS when you talk about junglers. It's what tilts me the most is when there's commentary on the junglers, like, oh, this guy is over 26 CS up. He's essentially doubling him right now. You look at the gold, he has 300 more gold.
He's taken one more Krug camp and one more Raptor camp.
Yeah, because he has an assist right now. The only gold differential between Jankos and Trashy right now is that assist gold on that first kill.
Worst part is I can see the gold and I fell into the trap. I got super excited about it, started talking, and then, oh yeah, 300 gold.
Yeah, that's literally the assist right there. I definitely want to highlight again how the nuances in pathing are there for the junglers. So we saw junglers start top side. They went to the bottom side of the map, and then finally they did something different. So they mirrored themselves at the Skull Crab, as we were still seeing Febiven and Jankos trying to figure it out. But then Trashy did something really cool, is where he did it in the past, where he passed all the way to the top side again, and he looks to snowball Wunder. But because Odoamne played safe enough, Jankos was ready to counter that, and essentially got H2K again ahead from that moment on. It's that decision right there, and their teamwork right there, that propelled H2K in a gold lead.
And it's exactly where they wanted to be, and we talked about slow and steady play. It's a lot of what we saw against Origin, not taking over aggressive risks, taking the game slow, and it's this time they built a game plan around it. They're happy to play slow in the early game. Let Jayce get the Hex Drinker, let him feel comfortable, give Rumble the push, protect him with the Lee Sin. H2K are executing exactly kind of as planned or as expected here. The pick ban went out well for them as well, and we're really just waiting for Splyce to make a big move here or to pull out in some way.
Yeah, but we're actually just waiting for this pause.
Actually just...
But it sounds like they're about to get ready. Ready checks are happening right now for the players. And we're actually going back in game, it seems. Pause is over, mics are working, players are talking again.
All right, chat's coming out. It's time to get back into game.
Eventually.
We can look at Kobbe again. Oh no, game's good too. Kobbe's good too.
Obviously, there's a little bit of delay in the early game, keeping each other honest here. And again, more of the same. If you suffer from acute amnesia, Kobbe and Mikyx are still pushing the bot lane. There's a kill on H2K. That's honestly what happened. Odoamne has push in the top lane, or lane access at least. Febiven now gets his blue buff. He's been comfortable in the mid lane, dodging ganks. It's going to be hard for Splyce to find a way out. Gotta keep following Trashy. He needs to break this status quo.
Of course, you said it. I mean, there's not a huge difference in the numbers you see on your screen outside of a few CS differentials here. The biggest difference has been in map movement. Jankos so proactive across the map, and already bot lane. Kobbe actually taking a lot more damage than he bargained for there.
Yeah. And the swing's about to happen, though. This H2K bot lane spikes much harder. The problem with Karma lanes right now is that she is okay in some matchups, but she obviously doesn't have an inherent spike on level 6. The reason Karma was picked so often in the past is because her 1-2-5 was just so strong, so dominant that you get an advantage. Right now you're neutral, and you're about to hit a level 6 Zyra with a Jhin combination. So H2K, despite being down in CS, they can spike much harder on that level 6.
Yeah, much harder to get the effective damage out from the Varus and the Karma as well. You need to connect the ult. You need to have the follow from the Karma. There are plants to block it. There are tools to stop that damage from going down, but so hard for them to interact with the curtain call.
Yeah, H2K playing it clean again. Lesson 1 when playing versus a global, attack the global first. Keep it pushed in, so there's at least an opportunity cost of teleporting down for Wunder. That's exactly what they did. They sent Jankos top, have Odoamne push in with vision, so he's comfortable. But Splyce, they're looking like a bot lane party is about to set up. Top lane is basing. Sencux is roaming with Trashy. Bot lane from H2K reacts accordingly. They're going to trade turrets. It's important that Nuclear and Chei do not get greedy right now.
Yeah, keep your eyes on Wunder. He has the ultimate. He may be the one who needs to show up bottom lane, but at the end of the day, it is, as you said, the turret trade. Not going to burn anything here.
Favorable play for H2K because they saw it coming. It was super obvious that Wunder was basing all of a sudden to get full HP because he didn't want to port on half HP. Sencux and Trashy telegraphed their roam. Nuclear and Chei did a great job of slowing it down, so in essence, there's a favorable turret trade for H2K with the first block turret gold, and they chip away over 2/3 of the mid lane turret. This is fantastic moves from H2K.
Actually, one creep left. Looks like they may just go for the turret. That is a big boon in the favor of H2K. 10 minutes in, and they built a 2K gold lead off of one lane advantage from that Rumble.
Yeah, Splyce was playing checkers, but H2K been playing chess all along. They were a couple moves ahead. They really saw this super telegraphed, let's dive bot with 5 people, guys. Teleport with the Shen move coming, and they reacted accordingly because there was pressure in the top lane already. And it really shows how all these events are connected. The second top lane had pressure, Odoamne kept pushing in Wunder over and over. He was on half HP. Jankos showed up every time he needed to make sure Odoamne was not getting ganked, shadowing for a potential counter gank. And that pressure forced Splyce to make a sudden, rash move that was completely telegraphed, and H2K read it like a book.
It's so difficult to play League of Legends at this level because you can plan 3 moves ahead. But if one of those previous moves doesn't go your way, everything changes on an instant. The second Odo gets a lead, all of your playbook from Champion Select has to change up. You have to be ready to adjust what you want to do. And for Splyce, that means putting their power into the mid lane.
Yeah. Splyce moving into a 1-3-1 position. They don't want to leave their entire bot lane exposed because Kobbe as an AD carry can't farm side lanes. A lot of the meta AD carries right now, they're pretty bad in side lanes on their own, which means their support has to stick with them. And it's kind of dangerous to leave 2 people on a long lane because they're still weak to ganks. And it means that the remaining part of the map plays super slow, kind of, 3 man on the top side, it's really hard to play. So that's why you just put a single member bot on Sencux, have him play safe. Kobbe and Mikyx, they play from the mid lane, push in, supplement with vision, but when the second they leave the lane, H2K answers and brings more people to fight for the push.
And H2K playing around this as well, putting vision down in their own jungle, ensuring they know where Splyce is going to be, but that's the equalizer. Kobbe locked up. There comes the Zyra, who's going to go down. Kobbe looks to fall. Jankos in the backline. Mikyx in trouble. Jankos wants another one. Double. Maybe looking for the triple. The bouncing grenade goes in. Trashy now set to fall. No, nothing's going to connect. Febby comes down from the skies, delivers him to his death, and Splyce falling apart.
Beautiful moves here from H2K. Again, these textbooks reactions from Splyce are getting hard countered by H2K's superior map movements.
Oh
They're
no,
playing much
Sencux.
more like a unit.
Nuclear goes forward, maybe not going to find it. Jankos wants to fight. Out comes the ult. Jankos going to try. Jankos goes for the hero play. Syndra presses R, but at the end of the day, it's H2K
I mean,
coming
she
out on
falls.
top.
There's no wave clear. H2K had the push priority in mid. Splyce fought back. The instantaneous engage from H2K netted them another turret right here. Teleport coming in from Wunder, though. They want to get something
Trashy's
back.
taken so much damage, though. I don't know if they can re-engage this. Out comes the Inspire, the Defiance from the Karma. They want to get more, and they're going to get Odo. But there's no wave to back them up yet. They need to get something in exchange.
Just watch the wave. Whenever they're sieging, there's only 2 creeps right here that are easily cleaned out, and then the next wave is all the way in base. So H2K are only going to lose 1 kill on the back end. They're super happy with this. They're going back into the building phase. Right now, they're going to push their side lanes out. Whenever you want to siege any objective, it all starts with side lane control, and that's what Febiven wants to do right now. Push out the wave, base, and then hopefully help out mid.
Looking so good for H2K, a 3K gold lead, backing them up right now. A bottom tower, the only outer tower remaining.
Look how they're leaning to the left side, their safe side. This is them punishing Splyce going for vision. Splyce should never aggressively attack this lane when they don't know where their opponents are. Because it's so easy, because Odoamne leveraged the top lane push and walked mid. Pushed out top, hit in the brush, he can engage immediately. Nuclear and Chei have that stronger spike that we talked about earlier. And Splyce, they're not respecting their opponents.
The strong spikes are across the board. The Jayce, the Lee Sin, so many champions happy to be right in the middle of this mid game. And you saw it, Shen wants to TP in. He wants to save that Varus with the Stand United, but it's not enough. There's too much damage on this lineup, and the damage of Splyce does go down to killing Jankos, but at the end of the day, it's a consolation prize.
Yeah, and with correct map moves, playing with a composition that is pretty much all damage, H2K can snowball super fast.
Absolutely. Now, interesting to see the way this mid lane matchup has unfolded. When you look at how Febiven and Sencux stacked up last season, it was so very back and forth. Febiven with some good games on his ear, some good games on Vlad, but past that, Sencux coming out on top once or twice. So seeing them now matched up again, it looks like Febiven really coming out with the edge here, despite Syndra being renowned as this powerhouse pick.
Yeah, but the edge never really came from them playing against each other. League has evolved so much that it's an advantage is never made in your lane. It's made in somebody else's lane. You're mid, well, you get an advantage by killing the top lane or the bot lane. Very rarely do you see raw outplays in the mid lane.
No need for hyper-aggressive decisions there. Jankos going to grab the Cloud Drake.
APM cam. Q, auto.
Look at this. You see that? Oh, he pushed Smite like 6 times there. Watch out, StarCraft, we're coming. That's a lot of APM.
Come on. This League's good in many things, strategy and all. APM sadly not one of them. Oh, this is again, this really good poke setup. Every time there's some damage onto Sencux from afar, whether it's a Zyra plant, an EQ from Jayce, Nuclear has been spot on with those Ws.
Feels like a very good pick for him overall. Helps him facilitate everything else that his team wants to do.
All right, and now it's important that we just keep tracking these minion waves. Whenever you see like, kind of a blue ball of destruction move up, it forces Splyce to reveal themselves and keep themselves busy, while that guy that just pushed up, he's going to move to a different part of the map and essentially outnumber. That is the whole strategy around rotations and pushes. C3 bot here, because Jankos solo pushed out mid, 2 people from Splyce were catching that wave. Jankos can free up, add some pressure, steal away the blue buff. It's all too easy right now for H2K.
Gets it 2. Trashy does his best to take it away, but gets outsmited by Jankos in the end. Now, you want to get excited for Splyce because there are a few good notes for them coming in, most notably the farm for Varus in the bot lane. But when you take a look at the goal differential, there's nothing there because of all the globals that H2K have been able to get.
Yeah, Splyce must definitely be a little bit worried right now. Obviously, this is best of 3, and the game was very draft dependent. There was only one key pivotal moment in that top lane that kind of decided everything. Splyce tried to chase their loss, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, tried to double down, tried to go for the gamble, as you said. Maybe swing themselves immediately back to the game or put themselves even further behind.
But they're going for the teamfight approach where they can really leverage the strength of having two beefy tanks in the front to protect their damage dealers. But obviously, H2K is trying to keep the map open, keep the map big, keep pressuring these side lanes.
Doing very well for them. Febiven more than happy to push out the top side. Rumble picking up the Krugs as he clears out bottom, and every single lane except for the mid lane appears to be in control of H2K, and it's taking so much from Splyce even to get that control.
Yeah, Odoamne is actually, I don't think actually doing Krugs. He's just waiting because he doesn't feel safe. He doesn't want to get rotated on because he knows the Rek'Sai tunnel over the wall with Penalty is going to kill him. So they need information right now, and that is the one weakness H2K can have. There's only so many wards support can place that Splyce can make picks. You cannot perfectly ward, so it's a lot of deduction necessary. For mid, then Odoamne can push out, but actually he should be mid right now because they need help clearing this wave. You know, the bind, that's what they're feeling right now. Obviously, because he saw 4 mid, he's already slow pushed the wave. He's probably going to try and push that back eventually. Odoamne is a little lost on the map right now. You can see him pacing back and forth. He's really not sure what's happening because he doesn't have river vision. Splyce could be roaming on him right now. He could be waiting in a brush somewhere.
Going forward, taunt comes through. Good play coming in from Wunder. Jankos not going to have a way to knock him back, which means Splyce now gain priority in mid.
And that's what H2K is doing. They say, you know what, we're not sure about mid, we're not sure about bot. Let's make a play on top. Again, attack the global so Splyce can't go for this Shen ulti engage. The second the reaction comes out from Splyce, which is 4-man push mid, Odoamne does go to the wave. He's like, okay, now I know what's going on. I can push out this wave. And that in turn is going to be the counter reaction from H2K. Oh, we need to defend that wave in the bottom lane. That's going to give him more information, and now H2K need to find a way to punish that.
Splyce stepping up, starting to get into the chess game, stepping away from checkers, but it's built on the back of a mechanical mistake, and that is massive. In goes the engage. Mikyx now set to fall. He flashes out, but it's not enough. Shen will be able to make it into the fight as the curtain call goes wide. Wunder going to lock up Chei. Follow-up damage may not be here. Wunder has the overstep. Mikyx takes a ton of damage. Febiven moving forward. In he goes to the skies. Down drops Mikyx as H2K back off.
Yeah, that's H2K working it out. Once Odoamne finally gets the safe push on that wave without dying, they punish mid lane.
Oh, Sencux flashing in, but the equalizer is there. Splyce don't have anything left, and H2K cut through them like butter.
I'm loving the patience from H2K. So many teams would panic, would send their top laner, just push out the wave. ASAP, we need you mid lane, panic. Odoamne stood in an empty lane, doing absolutely nothing for over 45 seconds, but it was still the right play to make for H2K, and they punished Splyce.
Giving up his own personal success for the success of a team. H2K working so well together. The hesitation from yesterday gone, replaced by patience as we look at it in this positive light as the team perfectly executes their punishes time and time again.
And they're forcing Splyce in such telegraphed movements. Obviously, we need to call out the mistakes from Kobbe and Mikyx. When your team's dealing 2 guys in the bottom lane, look at Rek'Sai, Syndra hovering around that bottom wave using cooldowns. You can't be this far up. You can't play versus Jhin, Zyra, and missing Jayce this far up as a bot lane. That's a clear mistake. Yes, it's a beautiful punish from H2K though. That's exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah, and they go in again. Kobbe even makes it out for a little brief moment here. Febiven gets aggressive. Looks like it may just be the 1 kill picked up, but...
And then they forget about Rumble. They look for a stun on Nuclear, but he gets a shield, and suddenly the Equalizer comes in. There's a Zyra flank around, always in control. Zyra, or the Syndra not balanced enough to one-shot the AD carry after flashing.
Still has to hit some of those skills, unfortunately. And honestly, it feels like Sencux getting over-aggressive, feeling like he needs to make a play, like he needs to make a difference in this game to come back. He didn't realize that Nuclear still had flash. He should know that. He should have these calculations ready, but they're just letting the game get away from him, and it almost feels like it's too much right now for Splyce to handle.
And that is very often the best thing you can do. To force your opponent to grasp at straws is just honestly be patient. So many teams fall in the pitfall of trying to force a natural progression. Oh, we're 3 towers up, we should be 6 up in like 5 minutes. No, you can only force so much. Because the bigger the map gets, the harder it becomes for you to gain information. Because you only have access to 3 wards on the map from a support, a pink ward maybe, and then maybe a yellow trinket. But so many people are switching to blue trinkets. There's less wards from Tracker's Knives in general in the meta game. Of course, this game both junglers build it, but it's very hard to get complete vision control.
Now, Chei now advancing, maybe looking for a bit of a pick here. Disengage is going to come through. Shen's still going to make it in the end, but Odo has now re-engaged the fight. Splyce pick up a single kill and will back off, but H2K grab the dragon.
Yeah, but that does highlight a little bit when a communication error couldn't be more here. Kobbe, good stun.
Locked up. That could look good for them. Jankos going to go in, maybe look to commit. He does trade 1-for-1, now trying to make it out as 2 members are going down on the bottom side. Wunder going to get burned down. The Jayce, too much. Jankos still alive. Fancy footwork, waiting on the Q. Hops over the wall, heals up off the smite. Double kill, Febiven on the backside. Splyce, once again, they go for the aggressive play. This time they get 2, but it costs them double as 4 drop on the side of Splyce.
It was the right play for Splyce, but sadly they're too far behind. 4 for 2 traded, but it all started with the Zyra face check from Chei, and it's actually a little bit too greedy there. That's the one flaw we can highlight from H2K. If you're doing Dragon, your support should not be deep warding. Splyce, they punish accordingly, but they're just too far behind to win that fight. Look at what Jankos did solo. Just demolishing, I think it was Kobbe in that fight.
Yeah, taking out Kobbe, going toe-to-toe with Sencux. Jankos having an amazing game so far.
It makes you wonder, why is Chei here? The jungler's on Dragon, the AD carries on Dragon. Splyce immediately recognizes it, so this is great punish. Shen ulti comes out, they find Chei, they disengage from the Rumble ultimate, but they want more. They really want to get another pick, so Kobbe thinks he can open with the Varus ultimate. There's follow from Sencux, but then they're too far behind. Jankos can two-shot Kobbe right now. In the backline, there's just too much damage from this Rumble from Odoamne, and it all gets turned upside down. Sweet moves here from Jankos. Jukes 1, smites for heal on 2, and he survives.
Febiven on the backside, the empowered shock blast, netting him that double kill in the fight overall. But H2K are just, I mean, they're picking apart Splyce. It's not crazy, insane team fights. It's punishing mistakes time and time again.
Yeah, I think it's an extension of the draft. Playing Shen Rek'Sai really leaves your top side weak, especially if you ever get behind once. So I'm not the biggest fan of double tank. Obviously, there's macro errors here, but I think the comp allows you to get exploited. And H2K are playing greedy comp. They're playing 0 tanks. They're playing super snowball. So if they get 1 kill, it gets them more benefits.
But it feels like their greed was planned from the start, as we saw them come into picks and bans with a clear strategy on execution, whereas we commented earlier, Splyce felt like they were on the back foot from the beginning, both in picks and bans and in the early game. Now, Kobbe in trouble. Equalizer goes in, flash out to safety. Mikyx doesn't have that luxury. Shock blast goes wide, but out comes the curtain call. Wunder going to do what he can to block it up. 3 members knocked up. Febiven goes in. Maybe looking for a little bit more. Now pulling back. Kobbe taking down Jankos. It's not just first blood he's after. He wants to take them all. Chei gets aggressive on the front lines. Febiven going godlike. One more auto, maybe looking for 2. Can he get the shock blast? Trashy shield as he makes it out. Jankos wants the highlight. Wunder's going to take him down. Nor is he. Jankos. Oh, he pulls back. H2K, they're too far ahead. And there's nothing left here in this game for Splyce.
H2K exuding confidence to the point of brutality almost here. Wunder's going to drop right now. Jankos is still alive somehow. They're playing with their prey. And nobody's building even defense. Look at Odoamne. Liana's into Void Staff. You would so often expect an hourglass here from the Rumble, but H2K is specking full damage.
So many low health bars. Pings are coming out for the TP potentially.
Still 20 seconds.
Not enough time. Snare going in. Well, Krepo. This may be all she wrote as we look back on this team fight.
Look at Odoamne. Like, he doesn't have he's playing as if he has an hourglass, but he's not getting punished for it because there's just so much damage. Febiven really good weaving in and out of the fight here. Exhaust once, switches targets. Good EQ combo, uses his gate again to speed up a little bit. Jumps onto Sencux, flashes over the QE from Sencux to then get that stun.
And honestly, when we see Jayce in the meta, it's so often he's this poke bot with a good laning phase. This feels like so much more. Able to engage in these fights once cooldowns are burned. Putting out so much damage. You can see not as much as Rumble with that equalizer.
Yeah.
But 2.8k as they move into that fight.
Yeah, this is what happens when Jayce snowballs, obviously. Jayce is forced to play that kind of poke style, obviously when he falls behind or stays even. But he has a really destructive all-in combo with the W that forces you to shoot out maximum attack speed shots. Then you can switch and it's hammer time. But it gets punished far too often.
Yeah, the hypercharge, of course, so effective for cutting through each and every one of his opponents. You can see the QSS as well. He will not be locked down, has the magic resist, the shield coming in as well. But H2K looking for another fight.
They've got their eyes set on Baron here, H2K. They're looking to play super aggressive because there's a solo push in the bot lane from Splyce with the Shen. H2K is looking to punish that. They're basically telling him, you can't play us 5v4. You send the Shen here already, or we're just going to take something. Whether it's Baron Vision, or now the top lane turret.
Top lane tower may go down, but if they do get aggressive, if they do try to go to Baron, the one positive point for Splyce is they do have vision behind enemy lines. They do have those TP flanking wards, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Splyce too often on the back foot this game. Now running through a choke point that H2K controls.
This might be it.
Oh, Febiven getting caught on it. Will they have enough damage? Out comes Redemption. Not going to be enough. Febiven making it out. Jankos is in the backside, but he's exhausted. Now trying to pull out. Odo blocks any further engage. Wunder still alive. Members traded back and forth. Blinking health bars on the side of H2K, but it's not enough. Out comes the curtain call. Sencux makes it out. I don't know if Wunder is. One more shot to do it. Double kill coming in for the Jhin. Kobbe running for his life. Sencux trying to make his way out. Empowered shock blast. Febiven. Insult to injury in this game, and Jankos has his eyes set on that inhibitor.
Yeah, that was the last straw that Splyce was grasping at. They tried it. It was a good engage. They unleashed everything they had on Febiven outside of his exhaust range, despite it being down anyways. But it just wasn't just quite enough. And obviously, H2K punished. They get 4 kills. Now it's Baron, and that's any semblance of hope of Splyce winning this game is now gone.
Just stop it there. No more hope.
If we're playing chess, that's when you hit that little thing on the side. Opponent's turn, you're going to game 2.
Make chess sound so awesome, Krepo. Just gonna use another word, but less appropriate.
Yeah.
Now, Baron picked up for H2K. This is going to be the final nail in the coffin, as you mentioned. No straws left to grasp at, nothing left on the plate. Whatever proverbs, whatever sayings you want to use.
Say it how you want. It's a good
end.
engage, honestly. It's a knock-up. It's a stunner to knock up on the Febiven, but we really see the power of the bomb on Mortius, and then suddenly he'll come out. Chei, he bites the bullet. That's what our supports do. When your team wins a fight, you end up dying. But everybody gets punished, especially on the back end. If you lose a fight against this comp and you have to run away from the speed up from the gate from Jayce, the fact that he can shoot empowered shock blast through it, the fact that Jhin has both the W and the R to get chasers out, and then Odoamne is untouched when people are running away from the Rumble, it makes it very easy to chase people down.
That Rumble damage. Remember, you just got to push R, folks. You push it, you aim it right, very hard.
Press it.
You have to aim it too. That's pretty difficult, but man, it does so much damage. And Odo is playing so incredibly well. Jankos gave him just a little bit to start the game off, and he's been building a lead for himself ever since.
Yeah, he got snowballed very early in a swinging matchup. And it all comes down to the Jayce flex in Champs League. Splyce was expecting most likely that Jayce to go top, and then H2K flexed it at the very end, revealing their trap card Rumble.
Yeah, and what an effective trap card it was. Odoamne has 25k damage currently, and he's doubling everyone else in the game at this point. So you can see what happens when you give a character like Rumble the chance to get a lead, and you give him these favorable team fights. Arrow goes wide, though.
Yeah, H2K just grouping right now. They have the Baron minions to stay alive long enough.
Shen's ready to go in. Wunder delivered, but kicked back, so he's not going to get quite where he wants to. Now Shen is in the back line, but he's the only member there. The team peels off to kill the tank. There is absolutely no follow-up and no kills traded back. Curtain call coming in for Splyce, and it may just be their last stand. Shots going wide. Double kill goes in for Nuclear. Not going to get it in the end. We're now moving forward. The base set to fall. Febiven goes forward once again. H2K want the kills. Odo's burning through them. Everyone roasted to a crisp. H2K coming in, cleaning house. It was clinical. It was everything we expected from the draft. And H2K out-execute to take game 1.
Yeah, much